Have you ever stopped to really think about the people you call friends? And I mean, it's not just the ones you hang out with, but the ones who truly have your back. You see, a great friend is one of the single greatest things you can have in life, and yet we often don't put enough thought into the friends we choose to keep around. So, in today's episode, we are going to break it down for you. Why the friends you choose will shape your life more than almost anything else. Why quality beats quantity, and how to actually analyze and build the right kind of friendships that will push you forward. So, let's get into the episode. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to your 5 to 9 job, a space where you can become better using the hours after your 9 to 5. That is 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. And it's hosted by me, Raymond, and let's get to what we are talking about today. So, think about the hardest time in your life, of just a time when things were really troubling. Maybe you lost a job, you went through a heartbreak, or just felt completely lost. Who was there for you? On reviewing my own life, I found that there are people that have stepped up, like I'm going to share later on. That a great friend is the person who shows up, who tells you the truth, even when it's hard to hear, and who sticks with you, not just when things are good, but when they are also falling apart, or who doesn't just stick with you when things are falling apart, but is also there when things are good. It just works both ways. And I'm going to tell you a story here of something that actually just happened to me recently. I actually did a full episode on it, me being the crybaby that I am. Anyway, what happened was that on one fateful Tuesday in March, I happened to get into an unknown car, and they essentially took my phones and everything. So I okay, I didn't escape, but I got out unharmed and everything. I managed to get home. I filed the police letter and everything. I reported the case. But on getting home, the guys who had taken my phone had put it on. When I was trying to call it immediately after they had taken it, they switched it off. When they put it back on, one of my friends coincidentally called at that time, and they told him if he wanted the phone and wanted me, they should send them money. And then that friend calls another friend who actually rushed home to be like, wait, is it true that they have taken this guy? And just to give you context, this guy moved a total of 14 km from where he was to where I stay. I'm not going to use specific locations, but a total of 14 on a judge just to come and check if I was okay. And I mean, if that doesn't communicate to you that wow, this person actually cares if you are okay or not, that I don't know what does. That put a lot into perspective for me, and I started to think about which of my friends actually, you know what, was that meaningful to me. Because I mean, from that day, I'm going to be very honest with you. If this guy calls, he doesn't drink twice. Like that's it. And then there are people who, you guys, I am bad, but there are people who are going to call me and I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to miss his call, and then text him after an hour on WhatsApp and be like, hey, missed your call. Are you okay? Well, okay. Back to the episode. You see, good friends care for you. Good friends check on you. There are a lot of people who have checked on me during this period. I happen to also be going through a whole lot of other things. It's not just the whole full thing. There was a whole host of issues that happened that week that I detailed in that podcast, and I'm not going to waste any other person's time here. And let me tell you this, good friends make life easier, and science backs this up. Studies show that strong friendships lead to lower stress levels, better mental health, and even longer life expectancy. And yet, many people are going through life surrounding themselves with the wrong people, people who drain them, people who hold them back, or disappear the moment things get tough. There is this study I keep hearing quoted in the podcasts I listen to, that in the 90s, Americans reported to have at least three good friends. Now, the median is one or none. And it's about this whole epidemic of loneliness that is, encapsulating the world. I think it was Simon Sinek that talked about it once on the Diary of the CEO. I don't remember where else I got it from, but I think it's definitely there. Anyway, so how do we maybe like find good friends and have this moderation of choosing who and where to invest our kind of energy into? Because, like all different things about life, I kind of find it hard making friends, you know? And I think a lot of people find it too. So I just wanted to talk about it, and maybe by talking about it, I can help you, I can help myself, I can help us to maybe review and have stronger relationships, to seek better friends, and maybe live a better life. If I'm not overstating my reach here, but yeah, let's just go for it. Why not? Okay, the first place I want to start is on the complexity of friendships, especially the interesting dynamic of friendship between men and women, and I mean the difference between each gender. I have observed, and I could be wrong and stand to be corrected, that men tend to have fewer friends, but seem to, in quotes, vibe with a wider circle. So they have like few close friends, but if they are to go out to a party, these guys are going to be fist bumping everyone that passes them with a beer or something like that. They make friends easily, especially when they are still young. But then they don't talk to them every day. They may not actually, they don't really talk to them every day, but when they do, there is this loyalty and commitment that they have, in other words, with their close friends. And then with women, they tend to have more friendships, but with varying levels of depth. So they have their inner circle, yes, the besties, and then they have this whole range that shoots up from there, all the way to acquaintances and everything like that. But it doesn't form as fast for them. Their social connections are broader, but they are sort of like more fluid, let me say. They have a larger spectrum of what a friend is as considered to guys. Guys have friend and then I know this person, something like that. And neither is necessarily better, but understanding this helps us to see why friendships function differently for different people and the different sexes. Because at the end of the day, having a large circle of acquaintances is not the goal. It's far better to have a handful of deep, meaningful friendships than 100 surface level connections, if you get what I mean. It's this whole debate when maybe if we can borrow from the entrepreneurship world and the business world, whereby the argument is, would you rather have five loyal customers who truly love your product and are obsessed with it, or 20 who just like it? You see? Because the ideal scenario, of course, would be to have a lot of people, or the 20, that love your product. But that's like rare. Instead, you have to choose one. And the best scenario, at least according to all the lectures I've watched from Y Combinate and everything like that, is to go deep and narrow. And that's the same with friendships. You have five people that love you, that help you to improve the product. So in this case, with friendships, that love you, that help you to improve yourself, to build yourself. And it's the same thing with friendships, and then even with relationships, if I may add, though that one is restricted to having one. Don't go and have five girlfriends, five boyfriends. That's that really love you. I mean, you can achieve it, but that's not the point here. That's not what I am saying. I'm only referring to friendships, and it's always better to find those rare friendships and then invest in them. And what I mean by invest in them is that friendships ideally should be like investments, because you put your time, energy, and effort into them, and they in return grow and strengthen over time, as opposed to not having them fade away, because that's what happens if you don't invest time into them. So So for the useful practical steps you can implement today to evaluate and then to build stronger friendships, I have a list of 3 ways. Unfortunately, I'm going to go scientific on this whole emotional journey, but you guys will bear with me. So, one is to track the frequency and then retention. And what I'm talking about is how to evaluate and then how to build strong friendships, in other words. So, one is track frequency and then retention. So, who do you talk to regularly and then who keeps showing up in your life and who disappears? The ghosts. Just that's basically what frequency is, and then retention. And then two is analyze the depth. How deep are you with these guys? Are your conversations meaningful, or do they stay on the surface? Can you be vulnerable with them? Can you tell them, man, you guy, I I messed up like this in my marriage, or these are guys that you don't want to talk to about that because, man, it's not that deep. You know, actually, a lot of people will relate to that statement. It's not that deep. Yeah. And then three is measure impact. Do your friends push you forward? Do they inspire you and make you better? Or do they keep you stuck in the same place? They're the guys who are feeding your bad habits. They are not impacting you well. And those are the tips I would recommend on how to evaluate those relationships. And then to build and strengthen them, you just need to invest time, like we said. And that's it. A weird topic to go about in this whole scientific way, but it's necessary because you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. So you need to be very intentional with who those 5 people are. This actually ties into what Alex Hamosi always says about being the aggregate of the 5 people you compare yourself to. Because your friends become your reference group, the people you set your standards and who shape your habits anyway, whether you don't realize it or not. Because with me, trust me, my friend group is the benchmark that I have for a lot of facets in my life, and not just like they are all on one level. No, one guy is the financial guy, the one I look up to financially, and then one guy is the spiritual guy that I look up to spiritually, and then one guy is the extrovert guy, the people person guy that I look up to, because like we have, I think, surmised within this, I don't have a lot of friends. So this guy helps me to kind of put me in those circles that I can make more friends and be more comfortable around him, to be kind of extroverty. And then the 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 other guy helps me spiritually because, then financially, obviously, we all want to be financially successful. And you can have all these other characters that, play that role in your life. The 5 people that you compare with, that you are around, that you shape your life to. So just take a step back and look at the people in your life. Who are your real friends? Who do you need to invest in more time? And then who do you maybe need to distance yourself from? Because at the end of the day, all that truly matters are going to be the great friends. Great friends are like gold. The ones that push you forward, the ones that make life richer for you, the ones that show up, the ones who make the hard times even easier, like my friends have done for me this past month. Those are the people who should be choosing where you are, where you go, who you are. Those are the people you should choose to surround yourself with. Go deep with them. Find those friendships that are so good you tell others about them. Friendships that, if lost, would feel like a massive void in your life. I know that losing them part is hard, but having them is just as rewarding. So those friendships that matter, just choose them wisely. And if this episode got you thinking about the people in your life, share it with someone who you think might need to hear it. And as always, stay focused, stay intentional, keep building those meaningful relationships. Have that relationship with yourself as well. It's one of the key friendships you need to have. And keep building the life you want, one decision at a time, one friend at a time. I'm Raymond from the 5 to 9 Job podcast. I'll see you in the next episode.